rock out. If you guys don't know, Nedeska cannot be here because she got some internet problems. Strong wind kicking up all over the East Coast. Somebody asked me if it was a tornado, but no, her internet's actually out for the moment. Wayno, how was your weekend though?
My weekend was pretty good. Now that I think about it, I didn't really do too much. I stayed home, watched the fight. Did you see the fight?
Oh, well, I saw the ending of the fight. I mean, that was the only fight.
Nah, it was a lot of good undercards on there. It was a lot of good undercards on the fight. But yeah, I stayed in, watched the fight. You know what I mean? Stayed in yesterday. You know, the weather just changed drastically as soon as it turned to November. So I'm cooling out. I'm not trying to be out in these streets right now.
Well, two things that happened over the weekend, and you're going to call me retarded for this, right? For some reason, I thought Halloween was like the fourth Friday of the month in October. I'm retarded. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was the 31st. Anyway, I was having a blast watching all these celebrities and all these people that we care about dress up and still have the Halloween spirit while we're in this pandemic. And of course, there were a couple notable costumes, right? We had Lil Nas X. He dressed up as Nicki Minaj. He's a notorious barber, right? We had Ciara Russell Wilson. They dressed up as Busta and Janet Jackson from the What Is It Gonna Be video. And of course, we had The Weeknd, which a lot of people thought he took it. Did you see that one? He dressed up as Nutty Professor. And to be honest, he was acting a part. And Tyga, he had to just go back to his ways. He was Joe Exotic from the Tiger King. Offset dressed up as the Mask, and Travis Scott, he jumped out on the limb, tried to do the Dark Knight thing. He
he fumbled at the goal line with that one.
Did you think so?
No, listen.
The walk-up was dope.
The walk-up was dope, right? The walk-up was dope, but it should have just ended there. You know what I mean? The brown Batman, the thing that was crazy about the brown Batman, it's like, all right, who's the only other color Batman? I seen the white Batman with Jaden Smith when he went. I think it was Kanye's wedding, right? With the white Batman suit on, whatever. It just was like, it just looked funny, and they clowned Travis so much that they got his ass up off of Instagram. Or maybe it was something else. I mean, I can't see Travis.
I think he's just buckle of pressure. I will say this though. This year just showed like the ingenuity when it comes to Halloween costumes is just out of this world. That if you weren't going to go all the way hard, you might not want to show your costume on the gram. By the way, she's not as popular, but she's, definitely an influencer. Tabria Majors, I want to give a big shout out to her. She not only dressed as Beyonce, she did a whole 10-minute video where she did every one of Beyonce's notable music videos. Killed every dance. I thought that was amazing. People not only dressed the part, but they definitely took on the role. So salute to everyone for that.
Quavo as Beast was really dope.
Quavo and Sweetie.
And Sweetie is Mystique. And then I ain't gonna front, man. A lot of people slept on Cardi B being Scarlet Witch, the original Scarlet Witch. You know what I mean? I
didn't get that. Yeah, I didn't get
it's
that.
It's all good. Scarlet Witch is, she's a character in the MCU, but they don't call her Scarlet Witch yet. They're about to, but she had on the original throwback costume. I was skeptical about that one because I'm like, Cardi B don't know who the hell Scarlet Witch is. Somebody had to tell her, you know what I mean, about that costume. But
she probably know.
Not that costume. I don't know. I don't think she knows that costume. But overall, I was entertained by all that shit. You know who's the sleeper of all the costumes though? Fab and his family.
Really?
Fab and his family. Go to his page, man. They do all the families together. The Simpsons.
Kanye did a family too. Kanye and of course, they did the Flintstones. Him, his wife Kim, and all the kids. But I'm not gonna lie. This weekend, you know what I was doing too? What? I was watching my favorite comedian. You know who my favorite comedian is? Donald Trump, man. This guy's he's hilarious. Maybe not in the way you want him to be, and I know it's very serious because, by the way, if you don't know, listen, it's everyone has to get out there and vote. Tomorrow, actually, we're not going to be on air because we want to give everybody a chance, and also us, we want to make sure we go out and get our families out to vote. So all you guys tomorrow, if you don't see us go live, is because we are out voting, and you should be too if you're in the United States. Now, here's the thing, because you know what people were talking about over the weekend?
What?
It's not something else that Trump said that was either hilarious, dumb, stupid, or just off the wall entertaining. It was actually Lil Wayne being pictured with Trump, and then Trump responding to the quote-unquote meet they had, and Trump called Lil Wayne a activist, okay? Yes. Wayne shared the picture on Twitter, and he basically said this. This was a caption. He said, just had a great meeting with Donald Trump. Besides what he's done so far with criminal reform, the Platinum Plan is going to give the community real ownership. He listened to what we had to say today, and he assured he will and can get it done. Wayno, are you believing? Number one, how do you feel about Lil Wayne being called an activist? Number two, do you believe if Trump tells you, yo, listen, I'm going to get this done for black people, are you going to believe that?
Well, I mean, action speaks louder than words, and we've already had 4 years to view actions. The thing about it is that what I don't like about this whole thing with politicians and entertainers. First of all, I'm never looking for an entertainer to lead me. That's just me. But what I see is that, like, it's the fourth quarter, and once the fourth quarter comes, all these special moves come out at the end. Lil Wayne is not an activist. And no disrespect to him, I got a tremendous amount of respect for Lil Wayne, but he was on quote saying that he didn't connect to anything pretty much. He said that he doesn't understand what racism is because he's been rich his whole life. So when I see Lil Wayne going and speaking with Trump, I'm honestly, I'm not viewing it as a black man just going to view with him, but he viewed himself as a rich nigga, quote unquote, to go on with Trump. So when I seen it, I mean, I wasn't really bothered by it because, like, I kind of expected that behavior from Trump to go say, like, well, who's somebody that's big that we could get? I feel like, I don't know if Wayne did get a bag for it, but I know that that's what a lot of these politicians do in the 25th hour. But like, as far as when it comes to Trump, me believing him, I don't know, man. I think he's had 4 years to show people what he's about, and those 4 years didn't work too well for me. So.
I agree with you. I will say when it comes to like Lil Wayne being considered activist, I think that's so laughable. And by the way, I don't agree with everything you said. Like, we do look to some entertainers to give us. Me. Okay. Yeah, I think the masses look to some entertainers. If we saw like someone like J. Cole, someone like Kendrick, someone who like even Wale, who seems to be way more knowledgeable on the ground, seem to be affected by some of these issues, regardless of whatever financial bracket they're in. We could possibly see those people and be like, what, they get it, and if they're making a particular move or if they're co-signing Biden or Trump, let's listen to it. With Wayne, he's made it abundantly clear that he gives a fuck about nothing that is political, and he cannot even identify to the struggle of a black man. So already we got to toss his opinion out the window. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and I guess this goes into the next thing.
Okay.
So by the way, we saw what 50 said. And even though he kind of brought it back a little bit, he said what he said. Keep in mind, this is leading up to the election, a week or 2 weeks out. Mm-hmm. Lil Pump, 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, a few others who are coming out to say, hey, not gonna lie, Trump ain't that bad of a guy. He got a platinum plan. I seen image. I'm not too sure if it's all the way real, but it was basically saying there's a $250 million campaign budget to get celebrities to endorse Trump, or at least to rock out with whatever his agenda is. What do you think is the motivation behind everybody within the last week or two coming out and giving strong support when before they had like a year before or 3 years before when he was in office? Right. Nobody was rocking with him. Everybody was just like, fuck Trump, whatever. Now everybody likes him. Or not everybody, but some people.
The crazy thing is that, and we always talk about this, before Donald Trump was the president, a lot of the hip-hop community rocked with him. Just the idea of him being this rich power figure. You know what I mean? A lot of the hip-hop community rocked with him. Nobody, like, a lot of the things that we brought up during his presidency were going on, and nobody cared about that type of research when he wasn't the president. So, as far as with these artists, I mean, when I see Lil Pump, he clout chasing. To me, Lil Pump is clout chasing. He hasn't had a record that's connected in a minute. He's known for more his antics. I said that he's like the hip hop version of Jackass, or he should do the hip hop version of Jackass as a show. I think that for him, it's just for him to be seen. For 50, I think that 50 is looking at it from a financial standpoint. I feel like most of the artists who are bigger artists might be looking at it from a financial standpoint to say that they're endorsing Trump. I don't think that 50 would be a person to get paid. Even or matter of fact, who knows? I don't think that they would, but I think that for them, everybody has their reason why they voting. You know what I mean? Regardless to what's it doing for our people, etc. Everybody has their reason, and I think for a lot of the celebrities that we're seeing, it's because his tax plan pretty much benefits them. You know?
And I mean, that's what Pump was pretty much saying. However, Kodak Black, he's incarcerated right now. And I guess maybe this is just a question of your opinion. Because Kodak says he likes the platinum plan, but of course he says when he gets out of jail, right, he wants to help out with prison reform and justice reform. Do you believe that, some entertainers, whether they're supporting just for or they're voicing their endorsement or their support just for taxes, or maybe it's just for, like in Kodak's case, hey, I want to get out of jail. I want to, you know what I mean? I'm only looking out for me. Is that selfish if they are, given the fact that they have an influence like that?
I feel like for the most part, a lot of people are making their decision based on what they feel each candidate has to say that affects them. Honestly, I think that's the gist of it. But like for a Kodak, the thing about Kodak is like you don't need either president to get into justice reform. You know what I mean? Like that's not really required to work with a president so that you could do justice reform. But I do think that it's a lot of motivating factors that it's based upon whatever money they're making. I mean, like me, honestly, this whole election, you got to get out and vote for who you want to vote for. You know what I mean? And I think that their whole thing is when you say, oh, I'm not going to say you should vote for him or vote for him, is because people don't want to get political in their views, which honestly, everybody's saying don't vote for Trump for real. Like,
Yeah.
I think that most of these artists, they just going by how it affects their pocket. A lot of artists don't give a fuck about the people, man. Let's be real.
All right, but in terms of affecting pockets, right? And this is what I'm thinking about. Now, for Lil Pump, he might be in a different wave because we've discussed him being pretty much being on the clock, right? If an artist comes out, we know Wayne, 50 legacy artists, they're just pretty much moguls, just icons in the game. Other artists, though, if they're coming out and they're like saying, hey, I'm with Trump, could they come back from that if they're making music for the inner city, for people who, again, might not be for Trump?
I mean, we haven't really seen any yet. But I don't think that they would be able to come back from that. I feel like this is how I feel about the whole election act. Whether who wins or loses, it's going to be groups of people wilding in the streets. Because this is going. I feel like this is going from just a political debate to it's damn near a fight. Like I keep seeing people use certain type of verbiage, certain type of words. Like for black people, this is do or die. I'm like, what the fuck you mean is do or die? Like you know what I'm saying? It's like you can't show me 1 year. I've been alive for 37 years, and I can't see 1 year where we've had it. I wouldn't say easy, but we've had like a smooth way of us being able to do things that we want to do. I feel like voting is important, but it's turned into more of an aggressive battle than it is a political debate or a political competition. And I feel like regardless to who wins, man, it's going to be some shit that goes down. And it's going to be due to people feeling like my side over your side.
Yeah, it's interesting because right now, and we'll touch on one more thing before we get off the election. I know people are like, yo, get on to rap. We get it. It's interesting to see what matters to people because a lot of times, especially now, you're seeing people kind of amplify and vocalize what matters to them most, whether it's taxes, clearly their money, or for some people, they're like, yo, listen, I don't give a fuck if Trump would say zero taxes. If he's going to like basically silently co-sign police still, doing whatever they're doing to us in the streets and a lot of the social oppression we're going through, we don't care what the benefits otherwise is. We don't want to do it. So, it's interesting to see how some of the entertainers are moving that way. However, I will say one of the people who has gotten a lot of like critique from everybody is Ice Cube, someone who, we've seen come up and he's fought the actual establishment when he was, in the game and when he was with NWA. Reports came out that the Biden campaign denied Ice Cube claims that they turned him away when he was trying to have a conversation. Okay? Essentially, they're saying that they tried to have a meeting with him on a Zoom call and he wasn't down with it. Now, on the other side, Cube is saying, yo, yeah, they did want to have a meeting, right? And I believe he said this, I forgot the name of the show he said this on. He said they didn't want to have a meeting, but they wanted me with like 10 other entertainers on a Zoom call that they could talk about a bunch of stuff, but I don't think any change was going to happen from that call. Some people looked at Cube to say, yo, you're entitled. Like, you want a one-on-one call? Hey, why not just be a part of the call no matter what? What do you feel about, Ice Cube, what he's been trying to do, And do you actually feel like, as stupid as it sounds, do you feel he's for black people?
So, I think that like with Ice Cube, I've never questioned anything about Ice Cube, especially when it comes to black people. Even with this, I feel like, okay, there's a chance that Donald Trump can win again, right? If he is in office, there's gonna be people that have to, like, we're gonna have to deal with that, whether we like it or not, right? So what I seen Cube is doing is not basically picking a side, because he said he tried to take the plan to each party, right?
Yeah.
And I don't agree with having 10 other, I don't know how Cube is doing it, but I'm pretty sure that if Cube is doing it, if there were 10 other entertainers that he's working with that's involved, then that call would have went down. Now, if you're using Ice Cube to say, hey, well, rally the troops, go get, see if you could get Dr. Dre, see if you could get Rick Ross, see if you could get this person, that person, so that we could have some sort of conversation that might seem random to him, I'm not doing that either. If this is something that me and my team has been working on, I'm not involving other entertainers just for the sake of having entertainers on the call. Now, I think that what he's trying to do is, I don't question his intention. I just think that for him, he's saying, yo, listen, whether Biden wins or Trump wins, I want to be able to work with whomever's in the front seat of office to say that this is what I want. I want to speak for my people, and I want to speak for these communities, and this is what we're coming to you with. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, I haven't seen his plan or whatever, but people got to get over the fact that, like, okay, if a person goes and speaks with Trump, that they just agree with everything that he's down with. Ultimately, he was the president. If some people, or is the president right now, if a few people over the years could have gotten in office and talked about a few things with him, other than Kanye, maybe a lot of things wouldn't have gone the way they've gone, regardless of what he pressed the button on. Certain things is approved. Maybe Ice Cube can make change where he's from or whatever the case may be.
Hey, I will say about Ice Cube is that, like, it looks like, he's one of the entertainers trying to put in the work, just like people like Killer Mike,
Right.
that not only are talking heads and might influence a bunch of people, he's down to, hey, look over these plans and down to come up with plans of his own. That might be suggestions, but if you're down to listen to him, maybe you could adopt it and it could be something that help black people as a whole. So, I salute to him, and I think he's different from many other entertainers, but I understand some people feel like him even going next to Trump or even having that association gives some type of credence to Trump. Anyway, let's get on to some goddamn music, because I am politicked out. Everybody, please go vote. We don't want to be talking about this for 20 more years. Just please vote again tomorrow. Anyway, there was 2 albums that dropped this week. We're going to get into it tomorrow, since we will probably have more time tomorrow.
Well, not tomorrow.
Or actually not tomorrow. Wednesday. But Trippie Redd, he dropped Pegasus album. And of course, King Von, he dropped Welcome to O Block. And we have a couple of singles. There were 2 Pop Smoke songs that dropped. There's a lot of music. However, let's get into, this is a very interesting question. And Chris Rock, he appeared on Desus Mero recently. And he was asked who he was listening to recently. And he said this, right? He said, I still like Kendrick and J. Cole, but he's like, who's a new album artist? He said, you know what I mean? I like the Baby, but is there a Baby album? There's a lot of guys dropping hot singles, but I'm looking for a whole experience that I can marinate on. That's what I'm fiending for, a musical journey. So I want to know your thoughts on that. He's basically saying for the newer artists, he hasn't found an artist like a Cole or Kendrick, which are high standards, but still, he wants to enjoy the whole project and be taken on a musical journey. What would you say to that?
I mean, that's 2 parts. That kind of, the thing about it, I ain't gonna lie, man, it makes Chris Rock sound kind of old. You know what I mean? Because, I'm just keeping it 100, because there's tons of albums out there, man. There's tons of people dropping, and like okay, me personally, I love Lil Durk's album. You know what I mean? Like, I love Lil Durk's album this year. I think that Polo G dropped a great album this year. I think that Conway dropped a great album this year. And Benny the Butcher dropped a great album. Big Sean dropped a great album. I mean, the Baby, I think that the Baby does make good bodies of work. Like, the only body of work that the Baby has put out in the past couple of years that I was the biggest fan of is Kirk. Other than that, like, the albums that he has dropped has been pretty good. 21 Savage dropped a good album. It's like, when you say that, like, who's the album guy? Like Reason just dropped a fucking good album. It's like, who's the album guy? It's like, Chris, what the fuck is you listening to? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, should even Rod Wave. Like, I get it.
Rod Wave, right?
Yeah, he's saying, like, he wants to go on a musical journey. But then it makes me think exactly what you said. I know the age bracket that Chris Rock is in and the demographic that he looks at. He probably hasn't heard of 95% of the people you just mentioned. So
That's
he's
his fault.
expecting that is true. He's expecting one of the top 5 or top 6 rappers who are super mainstream to make these bodies of work. While again, you might have to go find an artist like Reason. You might have to go dig a little deep and go see. He probably doesn't know who Lil Baby is. So I do believe that is his fault. But do you think as a whole that artists these days that are focusing on the body of work are getting less and less, and it's just artists trying to get off a hot song?
I mean, I feel like it kind of runs a little bit synonymous, but it's like, honestly, I mean, now more than ever, the internet can push more things in front of you because we're more on. People drive in their car and still look at this the whole time they're driving. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, the way ads is running shit, some things can be pushed on you as far as singles, but I think that music has always been about what it is that you want. Even when it was the CD era, you know what I'm saying? There was tons of people that I didn't listen to, you know, when I was younger, and they had hit records. That's where the whole term one hit wonder comes from. You know, that's always gonna exist. But when a person like Chris Rock says that, like I said, man, it's like it just seems like you don't know how to operate your Spotify. You know what I'm saying? Because you could definitely go in and find tons of albums, dog. Like we talk about albums all the time, and you know when he says albums, I'm thinking he's talking more of the shit that he came up on, you know,
okay.
Which, good.
I was going to just bring one more thing. By the way, I get it. Listen, I don't agree with him either. I'm just trying to throw in any little monkey wrench to see if he has a tiny bit of a point. Maybe when he says musical journey, maybe he's talking about, again, you know, Good Kid, Mad City. That's a musical journey.
Right.
You get me? 2014, Forest Hills
Generational
Drive.
album, though.
You're right, but again, I don't think he listens to rap daily. So I think those are the albums that he's like, oh, okay, he could check the whole thing out. Unless it's that level, he's not gonna check it out.
So this nigga's not feeling he's not feeling Jesus is King. I mean, you know, Kanye did drop a whole gospel album like this.
I don't think he knows.
I'm just saying, man. Look, and this is the reason why when these albums be dropping, we be saying the shit that we doing because, and you know, not trying to kick Kanye or whatever, but when Jesus is King came out, everybody was acting like it was the best shit ever. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like you look up a year later, nobody talks about that album at all. I don't never hear that album come up in not one discussion, even when you're talking about Kanye. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, Chris Rock, I think Chris Rock, he should get a little bit more tapped in on the TDE side or the Griselda side. You know what I mean? Like that's more of the shit that he might be on. Busta Rhymes dropped his album. He's part of the promo for it. So I don't know. I can't. It's like somebody saying, "Yo, man, they ain't showing no love" or some shit. It's like, dog, you know how successful these artists is. You don't even have to go gold no more to be a successful artist.
All right, and we have a big facts or BS. This one's coming from Don Q, but we have one of our fans who's saying, y'all got to talk about this one. And it's basically Don Q who said, yo, y'all A&Rs, don't find diamond in the rough. Y'all just find niggas that's lit in their city already, and y'all act like y'all made them, okay? One of the fans, Van Cardo, he wants to know, is this big facts or BS?
That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's bullshit because most fans, you know, don't see the work that A&Rs do. If we're gonna start talking about that, people just find people that's lit in their city, then hey, I want y'all to go back to this young brother that's from Compton named Roddy Ricch, who my man Dallas Martin found, and he built him over the past 2 to 3 years to where that kid is a superstar. I don't know who found Rod Wave over at Alamo, but Rod Wave has been signed to Alamo and been dropping projects for years until he became the star that he is today. You know what I'm saying? Even for myself, you know, Sada Baby, he had a wave and all of that, but me and him been working over the past year and a half, almost 2 years, to where, you know, we got a record in the top 40, and we've been putting out records. So the thing about it is like the fans don't get to see the long nights we in the studio till 5 o'clock in the morning. They don't get to see the long nights where or the long days where we trying to figure out what we gonna do. Think about Columbia. Columbia found Polo G. You know what I mean? He was already buzzing a little bit, but they found him. They found a little TJ, and I feel like that those are gonna be some of the next superstars. So when people say shit like this, he might be a rapper talking about himself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's a valid point though. So imagine he's the guy who like all of his friends say, yo, son, you nice. Like,
right.
yo, he got bars on top of bars, melodies on top of melodies. He just don't get more than 55 plays on SoundCloud, and nobody listens to his stuff. But he feels he's supremely talented. And let me ask you this. He's probably referring to, and he's saying, oh, back in the day, people used to just find the guys with no type of recognition, and you get him the recognition. You get me?
That's not, but see, but this, all right, so now look. Now look at this. I'm glad you said that. You find a guy without recognition, and then you get him recognition, right? So when you find a guy that doesn't have recognition, and then you get him recognition, and now he's getting all of this money and all of these things, and all these things that happen to him, what comes next usually after that, Akademiks? Yo, I signed the bad deal.
Yeah, you robbing me.
Yo, they robbing me, man. Yo, they ain't never do nothing for me. But the day when you signed it was the best day of your life. So, and it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? You know what I'm saying? It comes at the same time. But
let me ask you, is being an A&R a thankless job? Oh, because it's like we rarely, of course, you know, like you had the opportunity where, you know, the Sada Baby song, you know, charted well, and we could say, yo, Wayno, good job, kudos. But usually no one's looking for the A&R to give props to at all. And usually the A&R or the label, you get blamed for everything. So is being an A&R like almost like a thankless job?
Well, I'll say beyond just being an A&R. So let's look at it from this perspective, right? You got not just the A&R, but you got the person that works in publicity. You got the person that works on the e-commerce side who handles all the DSP stuff. You got the person who handles like all the logistics in the office, the assistants. You have the people who work on, you know, your art direction. Now, yeah, there are horror stories of artists who sign bad deals and, you know, they get fucked over, but everybody's not a bad deal. And when these artists are going on these tangents and breaking on how the label did them dirty, nobody's talking about how the people that work at the label have their jobs as a 9 to 5 too. Just because they work in music don't mean that it's just something special, and they don't get thanked. So it's a lot of magic behind the scenes that happens that brings an artist to the forefront. It's almost like, you know, when a championship team wins a ring, everybody at the staff gets a ring. You know what I mean? They don't get the same ring as the players, but everybody gets staff. Like at a label, when we get a plaque, everybody gets a plaque because everybody put the work in. And a lot of times, yeah, you unless you read in the fine print on the credits, you don't know who's doing what. All you know is what your artist is doing. But there's a lot of people that lift that artist to the point where they at. So there are tons of people who do tons of work behind the scenes and they don't get thanked for it. And salute to them.
Damn, Wayno with the clap back. Now, let me get in 2 more topics. I got to rush these topics.
Come on, let's do it. We running wild because the desk ain't here. So let's go while we can.
2 real quick hits. I don't know if you saw Mike Tyson and Boosie, the most random pairing you'd ever thought. They actually did a podcast together. During that conversation, Boosie was actually almost pressed by Mike to say, yo, Mike, what's up? Like with the comments about, you know, D-Wade's daughter and everything, you know? And Boosie, we've never seen him, like, number one, be maybe that uncomfortable, but also he gave an answer that was super honest. How did you feel about that? Because I do believe in hip hop, which Boosie comes through, he has been, you know, it's been a culture that has, you know, been transphobic and there's many songs which, you know, definitely vilify that community. When you watch that conversation, what did you feel about it?
I mean, you gotta remember, man, he's talking to Mike Tyson. I think everybody, you know, everybody's a little bit like on chill when they talking to Mike Tyson. But what I love about Boosie, regardless, is his honesty. You know what I mean, as a whole, and you know, he's never been afraid to be himself. You know, let's start there, because a lot of people's like, oh, you talk all that shit, but you ain't. Like, what he's supposed to do? Jump up in Mike Tyson's face? Regardless of Mike Tyson being a boxer, he's not an idiot. You know what I mean? And I don't look at Boosie to represent himself in that way. But I just felt like, you know, Boosie said it prior to that his mother was the person that kept getting on him, like, yo, stop worrying about what those people got going on over there. Live your life. Don't worry about them. I think like, you know, Mike Tyson, to see him be a world champion and then to go into doing content and speaking with not just rappers but actors, all the people that you would think that Mike Tyson would know, but to have these type of conversations is dope. But I just felt like, you know, for Boosie, he just had to keep it 100. You know what I mean? There's no place that you could keep it more 100 than in Mike Tyson's face.
Hey, I will say, I think it's great to see someone like Boosie say, hey, I have my opinion, but I've also grown to understand others' opinion, and both of those opinions could also coexist in the same world, the world of understanding and the world of respect. I think that was dope for Boosie. Yo, real quick, Gucci Mane, he said artists are scared of doing the verses against him. He said, yo, he got $1 million. Who wants smoke? I don't know if this is in light of T.I. and Jeezy going at it, but what are you thinking? Who wants smoke with Gucci, if anybody?
Talk to me. You know what I love about this, man? All our people that's in the control room can laugh at this one, man. Now I don't know if it's about T.I. or Boosie. I mean T.I. and Jeezy. Come on, you know that Gucci beef with everybody. No, but I mean, the thing about Gucci is, man, I love Gucci, but at the same time, it's like I wish Gucci wasn't just all about the money sometimes, and he just wanted to just do shit just to do it. You know what I mean?
No, I feel like he feels left out, though. I feel like he feels like everyone's acting like that era, which Gucci was pretty much that. He was the underground nigga, in a sense, for that era. With T.I. and Jeezy, he's probably looking at that to be like, yo, wait, why nobody trying to like get at, like, trying to battle me? And by the way, Gucci's changed a bit. So even though, you know, he's saying whatever he's saying, like, I think Gucci would partake into some dope shit.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is this, man. Gucci is the foundation, like, of what Atlanta is today. Gucci did a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you get a lot, like, now, and I'm talking about right now. You know what I mean? Niggas I be hearing, I be like, yo, this is Gucci's same. Like, they don't even try to hide it. It's a lot of people that just take Gucci's whole cadence, his flow, etc. You know?
Borrow a verse.
Yeah, like,
put it in
exactly.
there. They flow. Yeah.
But I would love to see Gucci do a versus, but that's not gonna happen. We all know that Gucci moved for the check, so that's what it is.
Definitely, man. We would love to see it though. Last story, man. I got it a lot today. Thank you, Control Room. They let me rock. Rod Wave. You know, this weekend there was a video that surfaced. Don't laugh, Wayno. Stop it. Stop it. This is going viral. Stop it. Right. There's a video that surfaced online at a concert, which it was Rod Wave, Alexis Sky, I believe, and a bunch of other artists that were walking across the stage. Yes, nigga, don't do that.
No, and I didn't know Alexis Sky was there. What the fuck is she doing there? Okay.
I don't know. Just random. Anyway, while walking across the stage gave out in the middle, not exactly where Rod Wave was, but of course, you know, the jokes then ensued. Rod Wave also, he did respond by having a bunch of money in his hand saying, listen, I've been laughing all year, so I'm cool with the jokes. But still, it was a funny moment. What'd you think when you saw that? And overall thoughts? I don't know.
I mean, of course it was funny. You know what I mean? I'm happy that nobody got hurt. Of course it was funny. And then, you know, Sukiyana made a very, very, very great point about this. She said, yo, I seen about 50 people fall, but the only one y'all talk about is Rod Wave, right? You know, but I mean, it's just jokes. I just think that, like, you know, even when Rod Wave, you holding the money, like, come on, dog. Like, that's, to me, that's corny. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we know, everybody know that you get money. I like the fact that he embraced it and posted it, but it's like, dog, everybody know that you get money. That don't mean that nobody can't laugh at you, you know, but.
Hey, I will say, though, like, Rod Wave, well, by the way, it wasn't Rod Wave's fault. Like, did you see that flimsy ass stage?
No, too many fucking people. That's a problem. What are all of them? None of them people is performing.
No, Wayne, no. You know how rappers be moving. They be moving like 20 people behind them like shadows. It is the fault of whoever built that flimsy ass stage. Yeah. That stage was only meant to have like 2-3 people like walking in a particular spot at a time. You know how rappers get down? That's not how it goes. Niggas gonna be jumping up and down. You ever seen that video where Chief Keef Finito came on the house and they fell through the floor? It happens. That's what I'm saying. Hey, I'm blaming whoever is part of stage design. They don't have a name, so we can't clown them. So Rod Wave gonna get these jokes, but I'm glad to see him okay. And by the way, at least they're trying to do some other things. Anyway, I have 10 million more topics that I wish I could get to, but the main thing to let you guys know is that, hey, tomorrow's election day. Please get out and vote. Don't vote for what you want. We don't want to tell you who to vote for. That's not what we're here for. We just want to raise awareness. Again, I hope I've done enough for my sister Nadeska, who's probably going to watch this later whenever internet comes back and be like,
we're going to get suspended. We're going to get suspended from her. But one thing I want to say lastly is, I want to send some love. I want to send some love to my brother Oskino and my brother Freeway. These are people who, helped me out in the game very early in my career. And unfortunately, both of them lost their sons, over the span of the past 2 weeks. My heart goes out to Oskino and his family, and my heart goes out to Freeway and his family. Love y'all,
Yeah, no, I saw those stories, and definitely a tremendous amount of sympathy was felt. And also condolences goes out to both of them. Like I can't even imagine what both of them are going through. But the hip hop community, I think this is where we have to show that we're still a collective and support these men as they go through this hard time. That's our show for today. We will be back on Wednesday. Remember, we're not here tomorrow. Okay,
not here tomorrow. We voting.
Okay, we're back on Wednesday. You'll see me, Nadeska, and Wayno. And thank y'all for watching. This has been Everyday Struggle.
Peace.
We're out.